If this resonates with you, share a moment in your life when you chose solitude over company and felt truly at peace. Or simply comment, "Today I embrace my own path," to affirm your journey. Your story inspires us all. Have you noticed a shift in how much you enjoy socializing compared to years past? If that question sparks a quiet reflection, know you're not alone. Many in their 60s, 70s and beyond find themselves stepping back from the social circles they once cherished. This isn't about losing interest in others or harboring resentment. It's often a sign of an inner transformation, one rooted in wisdom rather than withdrawal. In this video, we're exploring 6 profound reasons why you might find yourself avoiding crowds, even if you once thrived in them. These aren't surface-level assumptions. They're grounded in the real experiences of older adults, often left unspoken. Some may surprise you, others may hit close to home. But by the end, you'll likely see your choices in a new light, with more compassion for the space you've carved out. Stay with us until the end, because pulling back from certain people might just be one of the most empowering and insightful decisions you've made. Let's dive in. Reason 1. The weight of past wounds. As we journey through life, we collect more than just memories. We carry invisible scars. Some are small, a minor disagreement, a fleeting misunderstanding. Others cut deeper, betrayals, dismissals, or moments when vulnerability was met with pain. With age, these echoes grow louder, not because we dwell on them, but because we've learned their lessons. We become more cautious about who we let in, not out of bitterness, but from a hard-earned understanding that not everyone deserves a front-row seat in our lives. Consider Margaret, an 80-year-old who once filled her home with weekly gatherings. Laughter, stories and warmth spilled from her table. But over time, the guest list shrank. A friend betrayed her confidence. Another drifted away after her partner passed. No single event shattered her, just a steady trickle of disappointments. Now she chooses quiet evenings over forced socializing, not because she dislikes people, but because she values her tranquility above keeping up appearances. This is a subtle armor we forge in later years, shaped by experience. It's not always warm or comforting, but it feels necessary. When you've seen how quickly people can shift or vanish, you begin to guard your time, heart, and energy. This isn't coldness, it's discernment. Older adults often pour out love and support, only to be stung unexpectedly. That pattern teaches you to pause, reflect, and step back when something feels off. You start noticing not just what people say, but how you feel in their wake. Psychologists call this relational fatigue, when maintaining ties becomes more exhausting than enriching. It's especially common among those who've faced emotional trials, and there's no shame in it. It's a sign you've lived deeply, felt both the kindness and the sting of others. So when you choose solitude over closeness, it's not about holding grudges. It's about recognizing your heart's worth and protecting it fiercely. Join our journey. If these insights are speaking to you, consider subscribing to The Inner Path and hitting the bell icon. Your support helps us create more content to inspire and uplift you. Let's keep exploring together. Reason 2. Craving stillness over small talking. Your younger years, you might have endured conversations that skimmed the surface, gossip, pleasantries, or words just to fill the void. But as you age, your tolerance for that wanes. It's not that you've grown distant, it's that you've come to cherish the peace that silence brings. Quiet no longer feels awkward. It's a balm, a space to breathe. Once you've tasted that calm, it's hard to trade it for shallow chatter. Take Thomas, a 75-year-old retired accountant who once lived for lively debates and crowded parties. Now, he avoids gatherings that demand constant small talk. He'll skip family reunions unless he's truly in the mood. When asked why, he says, "I'm done talking just to keep the room buzzing." He doesn't crave isolation. He craves meaning, authenticity, and a quiet that doesn't ask him to perform. As we age, our emotional energy becomes a precious resource. The urge to impress fades, the need to prove ourselves dissolves. What rises is a hunger for what's true, conversations that spark connection, unpolished and grounded. If those aren't available, many of us would rather curl up with a good book or a warm cup of tea than sit through exchanges that leave us feeling emptier than before. This isn't about pushing people away, it's about being deliberate. There's strength in choosing where to invest your time and who to let into your space. You've earned the right crawling to protect your peace, to say no without guilt, and to prioritize what restores you. That's not retreat, it's growth. The more you embrace this clarity, the more you realize life's richness doesn't come from how many people surround you. Sometimes a single meaningful moment or a quiet night alone holds more joy than hours of forced connection. So, if you've been pulling back from idle talk or skipping crowded events, know this: you're not closing off, you're awakening. You're clear about what lifts you and what drains you, and that's one of the greatest gifts of growing older. Reason. 3. Feeling unseen in a changing world. There comes a point when you look around and realize the world has changed, and so have you. The language is different, beliefs have shifted, and the pace of life, conversations, expectations, even friendships feels relentless. In that whirlwind, you might start to feel overlooked, unheard, or simply out of place. It's not because you've done anything wrong, but because others no longer pause to understand your perspective. Take Clara, a 78-year-old former librarian who loved sharing stories with her grandchildren. She'd recount her days raising 4 kids, working and volunteering, but now she notices they rarely ask questions. When she speaks, they nod politely, eyes on their phones. It's not malice, just a disconnect. Over time, that gap feels like a chasm. This is one of the subtler reasons we step back. Being in spaces where you're not truly heard becomes exhausting. Slowly you choose your own company, not because it's superior, but because it's safer. You know the depth of your experiences, the wisdom you carry, but when others don't see it, it's easier to stop sharing. This loneliness isn't about solitude. It's about being misunderstood. You might be surrounded by people yet feel invisible. You share a thought and they pivot. You voice a worry and they brush it off. After enough of these moments, silence feels simpler. Psychologists call this emotional invalidation, when your feelings are quietly dismissed. It's more common among older adults than we acknowledge, not through overt rejection, but through small, accumulating slights. Here's the truth: your voice still matters. Your thoughts carry weight. Just because others miss your value doesn't mean it's gone. You've outgrown certain conversations, and that's okay. Sometimes the answer isn't to force your way into their world, but to find spaces where you're heard without effort, where your presence is enough. When those spaces are rare, it's natural to retreat, to guard your energy and to find peace in your own company. There, you are fully known, and that's never something to apologize for. Reason 4. The fear of burdening others. As we age, a quiet fear creeps in, not of illness or loss, but of becoming a weight to those we love. It's a hard feeling to name, but it lingers. You don't want to disrupt someone's busy life. You hesitate to ask for help even when you need it. So you pull back, stay quiet, keep your distance. This isn't pride. It's care. It's self-respect. It's not wanting your presence to feel like a chore. You might decline invitations, not from disinterest, but because you don't want others to rearrange their lives. You hold back concerns, not from distrust, but to spare their load. Slowly, your world shrinks. Take Edward, an 83-year-old widower who used to spend weekends with his son's family. As his mobility declined, he started saying no to visits. When pressed, he said, "I don't want them building their lives around me. They've got kids, jobs. I'd just be in the way." His family never made him feel like a burden, but the fear of being one outweighed his desire for connection. This tension is real for many older adults. The more you value connection, the less you want to depend on it. You've spent a lifetime being the strong one, the helper, the pillar. Asking for support feels foreign, even wrong. This fear comes from a deep wish to be loved freely, not out of duty. When you worry your presence might strain others, you step back, choosing solitude over the discomfort of reliance. But here's the truth: those who care about you want to show up. They may not always get it right, but your worth isn't tied to your independence, it's tied to who you are. Still, the fear persists, shaping your choices. You stay home when you want to go, stay silent when you want to speak. Over time, solitude feels easier than navigating that unease. Comment, check in. If these reflections are hitting home, drop reason 4 in the comments to let us know you're with us. Your presence matters. Reason 5th, the gentle drift of old bonds. Some relationships don't end in conflict or farewells. They simply fade. People take different roads, priorities shift, and life pulls you apart in ways you barely notice. You don't mean to drift, it just happens. One day you realize the friends who filled your days are no longer part of your rhythm. It's not always painful, sometimes it's peaceful, but it can leave a quiet ache, like you've left something precious behind. Think of Eleanor, a 72-year-old who used to meet her childhood friend for weekly coffee. Over time, those meetings became monthly, then yearly, then stopped. No fight, no rift, just a mutual understanding that their paths had diverged. New hobbies, new routines took over. Eleanor says, "We still care, but we've said all we needed to." This is more common than we think. Friendships tied to shared seasons, raising kids, working together, living nearby, often fade when those seasons end. As you move through later life, you might find yourself surrounded by people who no longer align with who you're becoming. That's not loss, it's evolution. When you value your time more, you become choosier about who gets it, not because you've outgrown them, but because you know your needs. Sometimes what you need is space, to breathe, to rest, to be. Old friends who once energized you might now feel draining. Conversations that once sparked might now stall. Instead of forcing it, you choose space, not from anger, but from respect for yourself. Growing older means letting go, not just of people, but of the need to hold on. Closeness without connection can feel lonelier than solitude. So when you step back, it's not about avoidance, it's about honoring the changes within you. Reason 6. The beauty of your own company. At some point, you stop seeking others' company and start savoring your own, not from pain or emptiness, but because you've discovered something rare. You are enough. There's a peace in realizing you don't need to explain yourself, impress anyone, or be anything but you. For years, you might have been surrounded by people, work, family, obligations, with little time to sit quietly and hear your own thoughts. When you finally find that stillness, it becomes sacred, worth protecting. Take William, an 81-year-old who used to host lively game nights. Now he finds more joy watching the sunrise from his porch than planning parties. When asked if he's lonely, he laughs, "My memories keep me company for hours." This isn't isolation, it's fulfillment. Others might misread it, assuming you're withdrawing from sadness, but you're tuning into something deeper, a life that's quieter but richer, less crowded but more meaningful. You no longer feel the need to fill every silence, justify every choice, or be endlessly available. That's not detachment, it's wisdom, earned through years of giving, stretching, and showing up. Chosen solitude is a sanctuary, a place to heal, think, and be your truest self. The older you get, the more you realize some of your best moments don't involve anyone else. You follow your rhythm, chase what feels right, And for the first time, you feel complete, not because the world changed, but because you claimed your place in it. Final thoughts. Which of these reasons felt like it was written for you? Was it the fading of old ties, the fear of being a burden, or the joy of your own company? Whatever stirred you, let it remind you, stepping back isn't falling apart, it's evolving. Choosing solitude doesn't mean you're cold or distant. It means you're wise. You've walked through decades, earning the right to guard your peace, follow your rhythm, and seek meaning in the quiet within. There's honor in solitude, strength in knowing your limits, and freedom in no longer proving your worth through constant connection. If you've been pulling back, pause and reflect on why. You might find you're not seeking distance, you're seeking alignment. This journey, even in its quiet moments, is yours to embrace. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share one insight you're taking from this video. How will it shape your path forward? Your voice matters to the Inner Path community. If this spoke to you, like, subscribe, and share. Your support fuels our mission to create content that uplifts and empowers. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you in the next video.